Tonalic gives you real session musicians playing to your song, right inside Cubase and Nuendo. We'll be working in Cubase here, but everything you see applies to Nuendo just the same. In this video, we are going to set up Tonalic, get a chord track going, find our first Tonalic pattern from one of our session players, see what actually happens when a Tonalic is playing to your song, explore how to build a full performance with the set page, and finish with timing, sound, and refine. Okay, let's install Tonalic and open Cubase. You can open the Tonalic tab in the project's right zone and log in with your Tonalic account. The full library is right there next to your timeline now. Every musician, every set, searchable and ready to be previewed. Tonalic downloads only what you actually use, in the background as you browse. You need to be online for the first download of a Tonalic, but once it's in your project, you can also work offline. One thing worth pointing out, there's no track you need to load, no output bus you need to pick or routing to set up. Tonalic just lives in your project. When you preview, the sound goes straight to your master output, so you can audition freely against other tracks in your song and adjust preview volume right here in Tonalic. Before we start looking for our first Tonalic, let's lay the groundwork. This one matters, so stay with me. A Tonalic needs chords to play to. In Cubase, chords live on the chord track, which isn't shown by default, so let's add one. Right-click in the track header and choose Add Chord Track, or use the plus icon. While you're there, click the pin icon in the timeline ruler. That keeps the chord track at the top of your project, so it doesn't get lost between other tracks as you scroll. One word on scales. In the chord track inspector, look for the automatic scales option. It's on by default, which means Tonalic figures out the scale from your chords. That works fine, but if you know what key you're in, switch it off and set the scale manually. It's more reliable and it lets you drop in a key change later that Tonalic will follow immediately. If the scale lane is not already visible, turn on Show Scales here. Now there are plenty of ways to fill the chord track with chords. You can write them directly by using the pencil tool or by holding down Option, and pick chords in the chord editor, and use the arrow keys to move between them. Use the chord assistant for full progressions, drag in a MIDI file from a synth part you already wrote, drop an audio file and let Cubase analyze the chords, or use Cubase's chord pads. Steinberg has a great video about everything around the chord track. Check that out if you want to dive deeper. Link is right here. With a chord track in place, let's find our first Tonalic. If you go to the search page, each of these little icons here represent a Tonalic, a pattern from a real recording session, the way a player would actually play it on your record. You can preview them in two ways, with the example chord progression, tempo and backing track that comes with each one, good for browsing styles and finding a vibe. Or if you're already working on a song, you can preview Tonalics following your own chord track and tempo. That way, the Tonalic is playing to your song while you're auditioning. Once you've found the one you like, drag the icon straight from the Tonalic tab onto an empty track or an empty spot on your timeline. Cubase handles creating the right track, the ARA region, the routing, all the technical setup happens automatically. Extend the region for as long as you want the Tonalic to play. Grab the right edge to repeat the event, or hold down Option and drag. And here's where we slow down for a second, because the next part is where Tonalic stops behaving like anything else you've worked with. The region you just dragged in isn't your typical audio region. It isn't MIDI and it isn't a loop with chords baked in. The region is only an instruction. It tells Tonalic to bring that performance into your song. What you hear is the musician's actual recording. Their feel, their timing, the small decisions between the notes reshaped in real time to fit your song. change the chords or tempo later, and it adapts immediately. And all of it starts with what the musician actually played. The engine doesn't write the performance, it carries what the session captured into your song with the musician's intent intact. And if you're wondering how the Tonalic engine actually pulls this off, it's built on Celemony's direct note access, the same technology behind Melodyne. So you've got one Tonalic playing to your song, but a real arrangement needs more than one pattern. Anywhere you see a Tonalic icon, you can click it to open the set page. Or double-click a region on your timeline. The set page opens in the Editor tab of the lower zone. The set page is the musical toolbox for that Tonalic. You'll find pattern Tonalics for the main parts of your song, so verses, choruses, anything that needs to play for a while, and just extend a pattern for as long as you want it to play. Then there are transition Tonalics. Builds, fills, pickups. These are designed to connect sections and not to be extended for a longer section. So drop them where you actually want the transition to happen. And ending Tonalics are one-shots. Moving the icon changes where the ending happens, but it won't repeat. A quick arranging tip while we're here. To replace part of an existing region with a different Tonalic, just drag the new icon on top of it. Tonalic handles the overlap musically at the clip borders. No clicks, no awkward cuts, no manual fades needed. One workflow note, the Tonalic tab and the Editor tab work nicely together. Use the Tonalic tab to browse and audition new layers, while you're shaping existing regions in the Editor tab. Now, every Tonalic gives you something musical right out of the gate. But sometimes you want to put your hands on it. Lock the feel to another part, adjust the sound, tweak a single note. That's what timing, sound and refine are for. Let's start where we already are. The set page has timing controls you can tweak. But you can also set a groove master. If you choose one, every Tonalic track in your project is following its swing and timing. So everyone moves together the way a band would in a room. And you can also import a MIDI or audio file and Tonalic tracks will follow them. There's a separate tutorial that goes deep on timing and groove master. Right next to that, there are the sound controls. This is where you shape the sound of a performance. Dial in the amp or out, work the room, adjust the effect parameters. Subtle moves, but they make a real difference when you're trying to get a Tonalic sit in the rest of your mix. And now check this out. For the deepest level of control, open a Tonalic region in the Editor tab and switch to Refine. You are now looking at the individual notes the musician actually played. You can edit voice leading, change the pitch of a single note, shift the timing, adjust the amplitude, and even one note at a time if you want to. Those are the basics. Tonalic in Cubase, deeply integrated. Tonalic Essential is your starting point. When you want more musicians, more instruments, bass, drums and percussion, or more creative range across the board, Tonalic Studio is the larger edition that opens that up. There are more tutorials on the channel that go deeper into specific topics. The Search, Groove Master, Refine in detail, worth a look. But that's it for this one. Have fun with Tonalic in Cubase.